During June of 2014, I drive up north to visit my family. Most of my family live on or around the reservation up there. My parents separated when I was younger, and I lived with my mom in the southern area of Michigan. But during the summers, I would drive up north to see my father and his side of the family. When I was younger, I remember hearing stories of Dogman and that song that became popular in the north. I knew that there was at least one wolf up there. I remember reading that in a tribal newsletter. I just thought that the Dogman sightings were just hyperbolized sightings of the wolf. After spending more than a day there, I have to travel back down. I rented a car that weekend so I wouldn't put any miles on mine. I also decided since this was not my car, I would go through Dead Man's Hill and not worry about the body getting damaged. Dead Man's Hill is a heavily wooded area. Some tribals go there to do vision quests, and they stay out there for a couple days. The only time anyone goes out there to check on them is to bring them some water. I have been through the top of Dead Man's Hill, but never towards the bottom. I decided to drive through there. As I first go through Dead Man's Hill, it's around 7 o'clock at night. It gets dark pretty fast. I see an opening with stairs leading towards a creek. I park the car and get out. I stay along the riverbed for about 15 minutes. After I came back up on the road, that's when I realized how dark it's getting. I look down on the dirt road and I see dog prints, and I realize that's a huge dog. The footprints were about twice the size of my fist. I notice about 4 footprints going from one side of the road to the other in a diagonal. I take a couple steps forward to see where these prints go, and then I hear a snarl and then a low growl. I look towards the direction of the sound, and I see a huge wolf on all fours. After about 4 seconds of staring at this thing, I take a step back, and its left arm goes down to the ground. I take another step back, and its left hand pushes off the ground, and it stands on 2 legs. I run towards the car without looking back, get in, start the car, and drive off. After driving 20 yards, I look back and see that this thing is fine. I speed up and don't look back. I think that what I saw that night was probably just a big wolf that could walk on its hind legs. Whatever I saw that night, I just know that it was real. It was November of 2010. My father, brother, and myself go up to the northern part of Michigan. I didn't know it at the time, but this is the last time the 3 of us would go hunting together. My dad had been diagnosed with cancer 2 months earlier, and it's been 5 years since the 3 of us have gone hunting together. We stay at my dad's friend's cabin. We arrive at the cabin and get set up. That evening, we go out to the area that's usually best for finding deer. My dad goes with my brother to the western part of this valley. I head to the southern opening, where there's a tower overlooking the valley, in line with the canopy. I get up there, and then we wait. I hear coyotes off in the distance. They start off faint, and then they get louder. A single howl overpowers all of the howling from the pack of the coyotes. It didn't sound like a coyote. It sounded like a large wolf. I look through my night vision scope in the direction of the sound. I see nothing, but they're still a ways away. I hear rustling in the leaves down below. I slowly peek out and keep shifting my eyes in the direction of the sound to see if I can pick up an outline of a deer. I bring out my rifle and look through the scope. I can see something that looks like the outline of a person. I thought for a second it was my brother, but I don't see his rifle, and he would not have left it. It was too thin, or at least not built like my dad. I don't know where the nearest house is and how many neighbors these people have. I just thought it was a little creepy for someone to be out here by themselves. This thing turns its head, and I can see a snout. There are stories of people spotting bears in the lower peninsula of Michigan. I finally spotted one down here. But then I noticed the legs, and see how skinny and dog-like they are. Nothing like a bear. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I just continue to stare at it. It was walking at an even pace. It didn't speed up or slow down. It was moving down south towards me, but towards the east more. It pretty much stops heading east, and then just continues to go south towards me. It walks right to the camping stand where I'm in. I can hear it breathing down below. I look in between the cracks in the floorboards. I see it looking right up towards me. It was a wolf walking and standing on its hind legs. At this point, the only thing I can think of, I hope this thing can't climb a ladder. This whole time, I remain still, but the floorboards between us creak a little as I shift my weight back just a little bit. As the wood creaks, I shift my head up, and I can hear quick rustling on the leaves down below. I remain in a single stance, with the gun pointing towards the ladder. I believe I hear it walking away, but I wait. After what felt like 10 minutes, I take a couple steps forward and look down the ladder. I don't see anything. I get my flashlight and signal in the direction of where my brother and dad are. I was expecting the worst as I was climbing down the ladder. I meet up with my dad and brother, and they saw the same thing that I did. We decide to head back to the cabin. I was on edge all night, but that was the only time we've ever saw that. I haven't gone back since then, but I have heard one other report. It was June of 2013. I was driving down from Houghton Lake. It was the first week of June. Memorial Day was a week before. And I intentionally planned on going up there a week after Memorial Day. After spending about a day there, I head back down. It's around 11:15. I take the scenic route down M37. This road is heavily forested. It splits down the middle of the Manistee National Forest. It was late, and I was tired. My eyelids were getting heavier. It was getting harder to see where the road stopped and the woodline began. I wasn't sure where I was exactly, but I was getting more and more tired. I drive up a slight hill and see something jump into the road. I thought it was a deer at first. It's crouching down on all fours. I drive a little closer, and my headlights catch the whole frame of this animal. From a distance, I didn't know what it was. I get out of my car and take a few steps forward. Maybe it's a coyote or a bear. They have been known to wander down in this area of Michigan, but it was more wolf-like in appearance. It turns its head to the left and then stands up. The engine fan to my car goes on, and that's when this thing howls at me. It takes giant strides towards me and goes on the driver's side of my car. But I just kept on staring at this thing. We made eye contact. I'd say it was around 6'5", definitely under 7 foot. It just looked like an ordinary wolf that was walking upright. It was not until it got right up to the window is when I decided to let go of the brake and get out of there.